And welcome back to the start of a beautiful weekend here in Maryland. Hi, guys. Here today at the races, Callie Francois and Dave Rodman to take you through this 9-race card here today on Friday at Laurel Park. Pretty decent weekend you guys had last weekend, right, Dave?
Yeah, weather was good. We had a nice week here at Laurel Park and picked a few winners, but hopefully we'll do better today. And look at the temperature out there, 81. It's nice weather, cooling off here in Maryland, partly cloudy. Fast and firm. Yes, we are on the grass.
We are on the grass. We have a boatload of fun races coming at you throughout, just not today, but the whole weekend. 2 stakes races for you on Sunday. But let's get cracking into this first leg of the early pick 5, which is, of course, in race number 1 here on Friday in this maiden special weight, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 2-year-old fillies. I have on top the number 6, MSA. Dave, just taking a look at your top selection, what are your thoughts on the number 3, Viennese Waltz?
This filly caught my eye in the debut here at Laurel Park on a fast track going 5.5. The extra furlong and a half should help her today in the stretch out. Here she is at the top of the stretch. She was last at the top of the lane, but even before that, she was actually kind of in the thick of the race, dropped back a little bit, dropped back to last, and then once out in the clear, started gaining some interest through the stretch and finished a rallying third with a solid gallop out too. So angled out wide, looks like a filly who wants a little bit more ground. She's by honor code out of Tanka. Of course she wants more ground. She's a half-sister to Cordmaker, $1 million earning, and stakes-winning Las Setas, if you remember her, as well. So Cordmaker's sister making the second start here for trainer Jerry Robb, which we all know is a strong stat. We're going to put that up, but we've done how many times, right?
How many?
Jerry
Too many.
Robb, second start with 2-year-olds. So I think she's a filly to beat in here. MSA adding blinkers for you today, Collie.
Yeah, so Brittany, with this filly, taking a look at that last one, she lost out to Buck and Great, who I believe was a winner at next time out. But taking a look at this filly, super game, just giving her a little bit of that extra zazz. Brittany Russell also 27% with her second-time starters as well. The blinkers, I think, will be just a nice enough touch, especially on that outside post.
So one thing that worries me about that race, the race has produced a winner, I think, while you were gone. Bootsie's Merlot, was that last week? Anyway, the 5th-place finisher came back to win a maiden 30, but didn't run a maiden 30 buyer number. How about a 26, right?
So not a maiden 30 number.
Yeah, but no doubt that figure could be legit. Blinkers go on. That could be a big turnaround for her as well.
And, of course, Dave Rodman as he goes 3-6-2-1 there in the start of the early pick 5. Let's go to the start of the early pick 4. And, Dave, you have a ticket lined up for us. Let's take a look. Let's see how exactly you play this today. No singles.
Under $20 bill ticket. Couldn't find a single. Going to go deep in the middle part of it using 2 horses in the first leg on the turf. That's Awesome Strike. I'll show you a video of that gelding in a moment. And a solid win going away. Langley Avenue, first off the claim for a hot barn. It's been doing well off the claim. Low-profile barn going 1-4-7 in the third, 1-9-11 in the fourth, and rounding out that early pick 4 with, I think, a tough race in the 5th. Going to use that shipper from New York and that Bold Honor, and using Glorious Mahomes in there, who's always reliable for early speed. Maybe he can get away for trainer Damon Dilladovico in the 5th of the afternoon. 8-9, 1-4-7, 1-11, 4-5.
Damon Dilladovico potentially having a pretty decent day today with some of these
Live
horses
ones
that he has running under, as Dave mentioned, $18 on his early pick 4 ticket. And it does begin in this claiming 25,000, which have never won 2, going 1 mile and 16th on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up. Dave, let's go ahead and take a look at your top selection. An Awesome Strike in that last effort on July 9th from that quarter pole to the finish.
Yeah, Carol Cedeno on board for the victory on the stage, July 9th, riding back. So Carol Cedeno gets along with Awesome Strike, rallied from off the pace, had to wait for a bit of racing room, but when steered out in the clear, swinging 4 wide top of the lane, one going away deep toward the center of the course there, but nice stride on this guy as he pulls away to win by some 3 lengths. I think a repeat of that effort will make him awful tough this afternoon. He's not a horse maybe that wants to be on the lead, that's for sure. So, he's going to have a decent pace. Maybe the pace could come from Langley Avenue, who got away with a soft opening quarter at 25-1, half of 49-3 crawling last time out. Well nursed by Sheldon Russell in that race July 23rd, his last start when he went gate to wire. There wasn't a whole lot behind him. He nursed and saved on a crawl pace that day. But the Daniel Mackenzie barn's been reaching in dirt horses, turf horses, and they've had a lot of success here with a small barn. How many horses do you think they have in the barn? 4, 5, 6?
I would say maybe 8.
Eight, that many? Okay.
Yeah, I would say maybe 8.
Yeah, but anyway, they've got made the most of reaching in the claim box and have been very careful with the claims there. The 5 in here is Ballyhoo Prince. Okay, 7 seconds, 7 thirds. I don't know. No matter how he looks on paper, at 7, he's still a non-winner at 2.
And there we have it. Dave Rodman goes 8-9-5-3 there at the start of the early pick 4. Go to laurelpark.com to take another look at Dave Rodman's ticket, or go on our Twitter handle for Laurel Park, Maryland Jockey Club. Race number 3 that starts the second leg is this maiden claiming 20,000, going a mile on the dirt, a 1-turn mile for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Let's go ahead and take a look and talk about your interesting take that you have on the number 7, Sir Lump-A-Lot, Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez. Dave, this one's coming off of a bit of a layoff and coming back at a bit of a distance. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, my original pick was North Highland from the Ham Smith barn, the second choice we got up there, but delving deep into some daily racing form formulator stats. Here's an amazing stat for you, the trainer Jamie Ness. 180-day layoff plus for this horse, coming back at a mile. You would think that's a tough task maybe to get a horse ready to go a mile after a long layoff. They're dropping him a little bit, but not dropping him way down after the layoff. So I think they kind of like him in this spot. With a mile to a mile and an eighth, running horses back after that time away from 8 furlongs to 9 furlongs in the last 5 years. He's 10 for 40, 25%, and a positive return on investment as well. So they claimed him, obviously. They said he needs some time for some issue. He's back today, and that 1-turn mile, just perfect for him. He should be forwardly placed, I think, in this spot off the layoff. North Highland, the Hammy Smith barn, coming from turf to dirt, but I did like his race June over Crosstown at Pimlico when he rallied from 4th, beaten only 3/4 of a length behind Inspired Irish on kind of a speed-favoring day, rallied against the bias at 6 furlongs, and he should be fit after a couple of turf efforts, a route and a sprint, coming back to the dirt for the Ham Smith barn. The 4, Sustenance, was on the lead last time out at Delaware Park, moderate fractions. I didn't see much excuse. The winner of the race, Homeschool, it was an 18-race maiden coming into that effort on July 13th at Delaware. But again, looking at the paper form, he's probably going to be on the lead today, but I don't think the Jamie Ness horse is going to be that far back, especially with J-Rod aboard in North Highland. Maybe a fitness level here, too, could be threatened. 7-1-4-2.
We'll see if Dave Rodman's stat can come to with a little bit of backing in it here for the Ness with Sir Lump-A-Lot. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6, and we're going to take a look at my ticket very, very quickly in this, which does kick off in this maiden 20,000. But race number 4, 3 deep, 1-8-11. We're going to skip down and just kind of hone in. We just talked about Jamie Ness, and he ends up being my single in race number 8 with the number 5. In Dixie's 2 cents, I have a nice little Parks to Laurel stat coming at you a little bit later. But then the rest of the card, I did have a little bit of struggle finding a single anywhere else, of course. But as you can see, race number 6 and race number 9. Race number 9 is going to be a lot more interesting, that turf event in that claiming 25. I think that's going to, there are a couple of question marks on those horses. So it makes it a very competitive race. And of course, we need to discuss race number 6, the Jackpot Super High 5 race. Always a really fun race to kind of pick apart. I couldn't land. I couldn't land on this any less than 4 in this maiden special weight, going 5.5 on the turf for the 2-year-old fillies, which I think makes things ever so interesting. A $38.40 ticket to start off that Rainbow Pick 6, and it does kick off in this maiden claiming 20,000. A mile on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Dave, you have the number 1 Stellar Loot. Mark Schumann, Charlie Marquez gets the call on this one.
A couple of things kind of swayed me to him over the 11. Your top, I think the 11 can win the race, no doubt about it. But the couple of things swayed. Schumann and Marquez teamed up last week with Angel Art on the turf here at Laurel Park. So that's a winning jockey-trainer combination. The inside post on the turf and route races here have been strong on a mile. 5 for 19, 26%. And breaking from post 11, Storming Chrome's going to have to do a little maneuvering. I thought his last effort was solid behind Goodnight Nile. It wasn't a pretty race visually, and we'll watch the race, but he did have some trouble on there. Steady bid, it was 3 deep, and then, opened up at the 8th pole, and he went into a real battle with Goodnight Nile, eventually being denied at the end. His race 3 back, the sprint, his first start for trainer Hugh McMahon from the California transfer. Also, speed figure-wise, I think would be good enough to get the job done here. So Storming Chrome's been knocking on the door, but with that ground-saving run, hopefully from Stellar Loot post position, swaying me to him as the top selection in here, 111. And the 9 in here, Swing Sammy is interesting, getting blinkers off. Small sample. Robbie Bales, blinkers off. It's also Carol Cedeno with the Mount Forest boys, not here today. So Swing Sammy getting the blinkers off. Small sample, very light sample. He's done this trick before. A horse called Calming Storm on the dirt. Another horse called Outside the Box. So not a sample of 20 or 30 or 40 horses over a period of time, but when they take the blinkers off, sometimes you have to pay a little bit of attention. And I do know I kind of liked this horse last time. I just didn't know running last out. Just kind of an even pace, maybe a little bit of late interest, as you see in the chart comment there. Swing Sammy, you're looking for the equipment angle. That might be him.
And I do like that small but mighty sample from Dave Rodman with the blinkers off for Robbie Bales as he goes 111, 9, 10 there in race number 4 to kick off the Rainbow Pick 6. Race number 5 is a claiming 10,000, but however, we will be right back after this commercial break to talk about the rest of Friday's card.
And they're off.
And we're back, as I mentioned, in this claiming 10,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 2, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Dave, you have the number 4, and let's go ahead and take a look at Bold Honor back when in that last win on July 9th over at Belmont Park for a maiden 20.
Yeah, we're going to pick up the race here. I believe as they turn for home, but just want to mention before that, Kendrick Carmouche did a good job at kind of getting him in the race down the back stretch, getting close down to the inside, and then top of the stretch, angle him outside in upper stretch to win by some 4 lengths. He was inside foes down the back stretch, angled, and then one going away. I don't know if we have the video or not. That was on a sloppy track at Belmont. Comes here to Maryland off of a win. Doesn't have a whole lot to beat in this non-winners at 2 for the 10 level. The horse that he beat there, Chess Spectacular, was the favorite in the race. So he did beat the favorite. Here he is highlighted here. Again, he was down the inside, down the back stretch. So maybe a slop-enhanced kind of number. It was his best speed figure. We see 64 after running 53s and kind of around the 50-ish level. But he did beat a horse named Just Spectacular, who was the favorite, who normally runs kind of like a 55, 58 buyer type number. But I could see nothing wrong with his stride in here, unless it was, maybe he just loved that off track.
He looks like he loved it.
Yeah, no rain in sight, but he's going to have a target, right? And Glorious Mahomes, so maybe he can get the same kind of trip today.
And he was able to do that on a fast track 2 starts ago, so it should be. It's a smart move. It's just a smart choice to have him here in this company. I think here today. Checking to see who you have underneath in this claiming 10,000. Never won 3, 6 furlongs, 3 on the dirt. Dave, your second selection.
Glorious
Mahomes
You're right,
for Damon DeLovico,
right.
Victor
Again,
Carrasco.
the beaten favorite last time out. Behind Rascally Rebel, Irish Warlock went out, got a lot of money that day, set a good pace. Rascally Rebel had a good trip coming up on the inside, so he was the closest chasing on the chase type in that race, and he kind of projects maybe in front today. Saloon, I know you've got him on top. I didn't know what to do with him.
Sure.
Maybe I just avoided him and forgot about him. He's dropping in for the $10,000 level. Can he duplicate the race back last year? It was a 2-year-old at Delaware. If so, and maybe he's going to be the rival to Glorious Mahomes up front. If they go crazy, not a crazy idea, the Disputed Notion, even off the layoff, could come rolling if the track's to his favor and he gets kind of a crazy pace in front of him. But in a small field, I don't know. I don't think so.
I think with Saloon, he's a need the lead type. The drop is just kind of the obvious go for. I almost approached this race the same way as you did, with trying to find some value underneath with the horse that is going to be taking in some heavy cash. And however, if this guy does not, and it helps because he has a near outside post. However, if he doesn't get the lead, he's going to throw in the towel really quick. So Dave Rodman goes 4-5-1-7 there in race number 5. Race number 6 starts the jackpot super high 5, and it starts in a nice maiden special weight, competitive enough maiden special weight here, going 5.5 on the turf for the 2-year-old girls. Dave, let's go ahead and talk about your top selection. In the number 9, Determined Blue for Phil Schoenthal gets Victor Carrasco on top. Phil Schoenthal 3 for 9 as of lately with his first-time 2-year-old starters.
Yeah, you said it, competitive. I mean, this is a race where you can really make a case for multiple fillies in this race. First, we'll talk about Determined Blue. Off of work at Fairhill, a minute 1 breezing. Same day, a horse named Determined Sail, about the same time for Schoenthal. Well, that horse came back or debuted, I believe, at Colonial Downs, maiden special weight, won at 34-1 with a 56 buyer number. And maybe all it takes to win this group. So she's been working with a filly with some talent. Cantharos, her sire, is first-time starter, 15%, a little bit above average for that sire with first-time starters. And she's the first full. I'm trying to read my notes here. I believe the mare won $100,000 in her career. And Carrasco and Schoenthal, they've teamed up. Determined Star, Flamingo Phase, they've teamed up together. So maybe she's got some talent in here. But you're looking around, there's some nice pedigrees in here, and there's a horse that we're going to show you on video that's quite interesting for a barn that rarely ships into Maryland. That's the Randy Allen barn.
That is. Let's take a look at Peach Tea from that first start back over at Parks, going 4.5.
Yeah, a very interesting run. Peach Tea was 5th in the early stages, 3rd at the 8th pole. You'll see Peach Tea rallying a little bit green, was between horses early, shifted in a little bit, coming on the outside, and then was finally straightened. And a heartbreaking photo, but there we go. Ow. And then, okay, gallop out. Imagining filly there, stretching out, first time on the turf. So given that good run on the dirt, first time out. Peach Tea with veteran Fergal aboard. Velvet Vixen, the winner of that race, tried Stakes Company next, as did the third place finisher in that race. So kind of a highly regarded group, so to speak, at least from the trainer's perspective. They thought they had chances stakes next time out.
Well, it's also interesting, the dam sire Catalfa, 4 for 19, 21% with his first time starters off of a short sampling.
Yeah, so interesting filly, and I mean, it was a Talonade out of a stakes winning mare. The 4 in here, the Graham Motion, 2-1 in the morning line. You've got the 7-horse Robbery Turf on the dam side for Robbery. First-time starter for the Carl Duran barn. Only start was on the turf in France. And you've got Ariel Moon, a Mosler filly from a winning family. 5 of 6 of her siblings have been winners. First start was on the dirt, now on the turf for the Trombetta barn. And Monster Summer out of Monster Sleeping, who was a multiple stakes winner as well, but may need one. Feliciano barn, sometimes they need a race there before coming to their best. And this is a salty field in race 6.
Do you want to hear a fun little fact about the 4?
Let me hear it.
I used to gallop her dam, Fierce Boots, when she was in training with Todd, and so she ran a couple of dirt sprints, but they kind of ran her a little bit longer. And personally, I am really excited for this filly to be running short, because I always liked her dam, the thought of her dam running a little bit shorter on the turf. So I absolutely love where Grand Motion has placed this filly for his first-time starter.
She got a good temperament, I hope, right?
She's adorable.
Yeah,
Yes, she's a sweetheart. Yes.
Okay. Because you got to tap it there on the top side.
Yeah, she showed it a little bit for sure, but we'll see. We'll see how she looks in the paddock.
July 13th. That interesting. Going back and looking at the notes, a good work at Fairhill. I think they worked her with, or at least the same day as Memorialize, who was kind of a filly who debuted. Was very unlucky. Was unprepared at the start at Colonial Downs and finished second. I don't know how, but came rolling. Long shot won the race, I believe it was. So yeah, I mean, you've got workout patterns. You've got pedigree patterns, good videos to go back and look at here.
It's a lot going on. This is a great race for that jackpot super high 5. I'm excited to see how that turns out. But let's kick ahead as Dave Rodman goes 9-5, 4-2 in race and we go in race number 6 to race number 7 in this allowance. 5.5 on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up. Taking a look, Dave, you've got the number 9, Brilliant Ice, of course, in the hot barn of Annette Eubanks, gets William Humphrey again in the saddle today.
Yeah, I kept looking at the horses in this race going, do I like this horse? Meh. So then finally went to horses, started in the turf once, but has the pedigree and is in good form right now to excel in the turf. A half-sister to Carolina Ice, who won a couple of races, 3 seconds from 15 tries on the turf, and Brilliant Ice here from the same connections, and a super hot barn from Annette Eubanks. So if she can duplicate her recent turf form, and run to that pedigree, maybe can put him over the top in the say other than. So 9, 10, 2, and 7, no strong opinion there.
Okay.
Boss Man JJ, I thought, ran a big race behind Be Determined, actually settled nicely off the pace, but they may say let's go today from that far outside gate. He's always had good early speed, but he doesn't have to have the lead either. Right,
exactly. So as we have it, interesting again in race number 7 as Dave Rodman goes 9, 10, 2, 7. I go 3, 2, 6, 5 to just show you that that race can kind of go any which direction. But let's go ahead to race number 8 in this allowance on the dirt, going 7 furlongs for the 3-year-olds and up. Dave, you and I both agree on the number 5, Dixie's 2 Stents. Let's go ahead and take a look back at that run on the 4th of July over at Parks.
Okay, as they broke from the gate, first of all, this horse had some early speed. Frankie Pennington kind of sent him up in between horses, and then he knew he wasn't going to grab the lead, so just kind of settled a bit kindly right off the pace, tipped him ever so gently about 3 deep on the turn, and then opened up the lead from the top of the stretch to the 8th pole and held sway to win by some 3 lengths. Strong race, good time. I thought a horse maybe who can rally from off the pace, or maybe they can use that speed if necessary. A long time ago, as Don McLean would have said, back in the day, this horse was actually, if you go way back, was 2-1 in the Del Mar Futurity way back when against Dr. Shivel or Dr. Shivel. So he's a California transplant here to the East Coast, who I think is headed back in the right direction and able to do whatever Jamie Rodriguez wants to do with him in here.
Touch really quick on your exacta play in the number 1, the Rail Horse and Sea Trident at 10-1 for Claudio Gonzalez. Gets Axel Concepcion with the weight off.
Yeah, I mean, he's had one start here, Laurel, at the mile, just missed in a game effort. He was actually won the race, was disqualified in a very unlucky effort. Tried him back at Monmouth in that 6 furlong sprint. Now he's coming back after that layoff, 4th in the cycle. He's probably the speed in the race. They're probably going to go for it, right? And maybe Dixie 2 Stents can settle right off of him. I mean, I thought that was just an outstanding effort, though the DQ going the mile, second back after time away, and now he's a little bit more fit, and he's got natural early speed. Some of his races at Gulfstream Park, I don't like to go too far back, but as you see back in September, those races would certainly be good enough to claim the winner's share here in this spot. I mean, is he the speed of the speed? That's a possibility in here. Pudgeboy Palace maybe going to prompt him a little bit. I think they'll take Dixie 2 cents right back off that duel. Cajun Dream has some early speed, but is he really that fast to run with them early? So the pace scenario will tell the tale in the spot.
And we'll find out in race number 8 as Dave Rodman goes 5-1-4-7. Race number 9 to wrap up our Friday's card is an interesting claiming 25 never win 2. A mile and 16th on the turf for the girls 3 and up. Dave, you have the number 8 on top in Daily Planet. Changed the jockey for Milan Milosevic, but changed the jockey from Forest Boyce to Charlie Marquez today.
Well, you know, I wish I could tell you about the horse, but I seem to have lost that page on my end. But I do remember that.
Let's see if I can jog your memory.
I've got it right here. I just
Perfect.
gotta pull it up. But,
let's give you a second. I'll give Dave a second just to kind of get his bearings together. But last time out, clearly is asking, had the blinkers on. I don't think she was a fan of it at all. But you refer back to the fall last year. She was able to show some ability coming from off the pace. What's she going to do today, Dave?
Okay, well, the first thing I want to say is easier company, right?
Yes.
Naval Empire is an upswing trombetta horse. It was 70. She was 72 to 1 in that spot. Taking the blinkers back off, a one-race experiment with the blinkers on. So she's back in her company today. Charlie Marquez will get the mount in here, and this horse likes the grass, needs a decent pace setup maybe in front of her, though she's been on the lead before.
Yep.
I think she's probably a little bit better with that one-run kind of rally here. She's done that before. She was on the lead, 3 back at Pimlico on the grass, which kind of surprised me. Lenny Kate, the winner of that race, came back to win her next start as well. So and she's a turf filly who's won 140,000 on the grass. So I think she's in a good spot this afternoon. Proper Storm. Also, the horse has had some gaps in her in her form. As you can see, she had a long time off. 2022, she took a vacation. Now she seems to be rounding back into form. Second to Toss a Coin. Last time out, that was the day we went one turf race on the good turf here at Laurel. It rained a lot. Sing Scat won. I believe it was Gate to Wire. Jamie Ness, that was a win, for him, 4,000 and
4,000.
4,000. Then we canceled the rest of the races that day off the turf to the main track. So I'm willing to excuse that race, that 5th place finish. If she can run back to May 26th, the race off the layoff, she's right there with a 58 buyer figure. 864 and 2. Lady Mosler putting the blinkers back on after a blinkers off experiment. She's probably going to the lead in this spot at a mile and the 16th, coming off those sprint races, wouldn't you say? She was second behind Basarati, who climbed the ladder to become a stakes winner on the grass as well for trainer Brittany Russell.
And there we have it. Dave Rodman, 8642 for our chat here about Friday's card. And let's go ahead to lightning round. Going to touch on a couple of things. I decided to give you a little bit of a price play and a value play today. I start in race number 7 with my price play of Freestanding for Brittany Russell. This one is the half-sibling one in first asking on the turf. This one, Freestanding, of course, is trying turf for the first time, has had about 3 starts on the dirt. Some pretty decent efforts, a little bit of a break in campaigns. But outside of that, I took a look at that last race over at Colonial. I believe it was Colonial, but just looked, it not spinning the wheels by any means on the dirt, but just taking a look at that stride, how that filly was moving. I was just thinking it looks like she's going to skip along the Laurel lawn today.
Yeah,
so
I think we saw an American Freedom one in the grass here a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
So they taught a little turf on the toppy.
Turf on the toppy. There we have it. And let's go to our best bet. The other toppy in our best bet in race number 8 for Dixie's 2 cents. Of course, we talked about this earlier with Jamie Ness, proven to ship well from that Santa Anita to Keeneland effort, slowly but surely inching his way across across from the West Coast to the East Coast. But also, Jamie Ness with his Parks runners shipping over to Maryland and running in Maryland. 22 for 88, 25% as of lately at a barn trend for Ness from Parks to Laurel. So there we have it, Dave.
He's going to be in a good spot, right?
Yes.
Off the pace of C. Trident. And we talked about it. He's tractable, rateable if necessary. He was actually down inside and between horses in that race at Parks. Right?
He was. So handled it very well. I think he's going to get a bit of an easier trip today. And let's go ahead and talk about the big sale that happened last weekend. Of course, the big Saratoga sale over at Fasig-Tipton in Saratoga on August 7th and 8th. But Maryland didn't disappoint. Bred by Country Life Farm and Star Quality LLC, this filly was consigned by Bluegrass Thoroughbred Services and sold for $775,000 to Solis and Lit. Out of a stakes winning first Jude Mare Star of Quality, whom Country Life purchased for $72,000 at the Keeneland November breeding stock sale in 2020. This is her second foal. Her first foal sold for $90,000 at the same sale at last year's Saratoga sale to Starlight Racing. So that's going to be very exciting. Two other Maryland breds that brought a little bit of money. Breeder Determined Stud sold one for $275,000. Agent for Hillwood. Of course, Ellen Charles just always delivering a little bit. And then, of course, another one consigned by Scott Mallory, also bred by Determined Stud, sold for $230,000 to St. Elias Stables.
Yeah, feather in the cap for the Maryland connections there for sure. Always good to report on good things happening pedigree-wise, sales-wise for the Maryland.
And we will leave it. We're actually going to get right back to you for more changes and potential scratches for the rest of this card. But for now, I will see you in the afternoon.
Good luck.